I want to know how you're going to manage without cigarettes, assuming you give up.
I am going to start with cigarettes because we know I wouldn't leave the dock without. But I only want to bring a couple of months' worth. And when it happens, it happens. You know, it's the beauty of quitting when you have no other option. It's much easier than when there's an option.
Let me tell you, those first few days when you haven't got them are hell.
Also, living on land with them can sometimes be hell. So maybe...
yeah, there's some truth in that too, yeah. But the boats already? I mean, you're going to start practicing now?
I think we're in the right yard. Yeah. It's a beautiful boat. I love it. This is the first day I've gotten to see it and touch it, and to buy something sight unseen. Yeah. I have nothing but enthusiasm, so no buyer's remorse. Very excited.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. But Antoine, I mean, you're one of 3 from the Vendée.
Yes, absolutely.
It's and you bought one of these Biscay 36?
Yeah, I bought the Biscay. Unfortunately, no luck. There's no French boat pre-selected. There's no long keel in France, and it's too old-fashioned. Maybe, I don't know. But so I had to come here, cross the pond and look for a nice boat. And I was looking at the Rustler. I was looking at the Biscay, the Saga 36, which is a beautiful boat as well. And I ended up in Falmouth finding a Biscay, an old Biscay, because this is the first old being built over there. Right. And Nabil has got the other hand, the last one.
We have bookends.
Yeah. Bookends. Yes.
Yeah,
so we have a kind of story behind that. Yeah. And as far as we are today, we're pretty happy. There's a lot of work, of course, to be undertaken, but we still have time. It's
you do. I mean, that's the main
2 years.
thing.
I mean, the clock is ticking in one hand because you need to keep things moving. There's a bit of money involved.
But production is moving. So.
Yeah.
But
progress.
The plan is there. We have a plan.
But yes, I mean, okay, it's under 2 years, but that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yes and no. It goes quickly. I'm still working full-time at the day job. Right. So that is unfortunate, but, we have bills to pay make this happen.
Work interferes with saving, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an expensive mistress, isn't it? It's hard to tell people where your money went,
Yeah, certainly right.
I took the opportunity to quit my job, actually. I was living in Norway. And I had a beautiful 45-foot boat, the old French in steel, from the 70s. Yeah. We've been traveling with my wife in Scandinavia, spent some time wintering in the ice, stuff like that. But when this guy, Don McIntyre, I don't know if you heard about it, but he came up with the idea, so we do celebrate the 50 years of your departure. So I say, well, sorry, darling, but I need to go. So I sold my boat and I acquired this Biscay. And my wife endorsed the project. That's the main thing.
No,
that's unbelievable. That's incredible.
Well, no, that permission is rather important. No, when I first met Don in Sydney when we were doing the BOC race, and apparently he was very disappointed because he was expecting to learn something about the weather, and looking at the clouds. Yeah. And all I wanted to do was discuss the fact that England were playing Australia at cricket, and it wasn't seeming to go very well for England, which is, and of course we hate being beaten by the Australians, so this was serious business, as you can imagine. But then he went and did the BOC, so I got to know him a lot better then. But it's a great concept, it really is, I think. I mean, it's real adventure again. Right. It's not just racing fast boats with all the modern...
With all the modern grip files.
That's right.
This is just you take the weather that comes. It's part of the adventure, and I feel like it's part of the passion. And Don embodies the passion quite nicely. I have to say, he is very good.
If you remember, my sole instrument for meteorology was a barometer, which I got from a pub. So it had written on it, "A lovely day for a Guinness." And I have no idea if it was accurate. It didn't matter, because as long as it went up and down, I could tell what was happening. Yeah, right. And that and looking at the clouds, and of course that's all we had in those days.
Did you use the rag? I know Bernard Moitessier was saying if your rag is wet or dry, you get a low pressure and a high pressure. He was talking about that.
I know my trousers were permanently wet, so and I used to actually put them into the sea to wash the salt out of them. Because they came out of it less saline.
From the sweat, right?
Well, just water getting through the oilskins. We didn't have decent oilskins then, of course. Right. And when I got back, I mean, it got so bad, I cut holes in the bottom of my boots to let the water out.
Wow.
Because otherwise I was walking around sloshing everywhere.
Soggy bottoms.
We just didn't have the equipment we got today. It was a different world. We were satellites.
Did you get water in your boat, like leaks or stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's a wooden boat,
I had
throw the
that
planks and.
200 gallons a day to start with. That's why I put the tingle on the hull.
Right.
And
Okay.
I did that in the
So it's a
doldrums.
pump.
Oh yeah. It's
An hour a
pumping all
day.
day. And so that's why I went down and put that tingle on. And that cut it down to about 20 gallons.
Still
Apart from what came through the top
Right.
after we got hit by a wave. And that's why I lost the radio, because the water got onto the radio. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a receiver and no transmitter, which actually is brilliant.
Okay.
Because
No
you,
news.
you can't, don't have to
Can't
think.
pollute the mind with
Well, oh God, I've got to run the generator so I can talk on this schedule. Can't do it. Radio's not working. That's great.
You know, something that always impressed me was your exercise that you got maybe in the Atlantic when you would jump in, swim
Yeah.
alongside the boat at the back. Something that after reading that, I thought, well, that's a great idea, but you know, I don't know that I want to part with the boat like that.
No.
But most impressive. It's something
But I
I've
had a
always
line
thought.
out the back.
You did.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
I grabbed the framework at the stern. If I missed that, I could grab the line.
Yeah, yeah.
But 5 knots is darn hard work
Oh,
pulling this
right.
up. It's
It's
5
almost
knots.
It's pulling a lot.
impossible.
It is. It's
Done that as well.
I reckon that was above the
knots is
limit.
okay, yeah.
You know, 2-3 knots
Yeah.
was enough.
Right.
And dive off the bowsprit, swim like hell, grab the stern, climb out,
Got it.
cover yourself with soap, dive off the bow, swim like hell, get out.
It's good,
and rinse. And you got,
In the tropics, it's very good.
it's very nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
It is. It's the only thing that keeps you going. It gets so darn hot.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, it's
Did you
great.
have a fan? You had a small fan? No, it's not a fan.
Electrics.
No.
I don't think anything worked when I got back. In fact, I had no electric. Well, the receiver still worked,
Yeah.
but no Nabil said. But
You had problems with the generator too, if I'm not mistaken.
well, it kept getting wet. But so I took the cylinder head off and cleaned it, and then I discovered. You know the spark gap you have
Yeah.
in the old petrol engines? I thought, oh crikey, what was the spark gap? And I realised it was 20 thou. And I thought, wait a minute, my diary is about an inch thick. If I take 20 thou
Right.
and I cut enough pages
Yeah,
out
you
of
can put it through and.
put it in the thing, tighten up the screw, boom, first pull.
Nice.
That's the.
You know, a cover of a matchbook is usually
That's
my
what I
take.
thought.
I always use the sandpaper of,
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
matchbook to also clean that spark.
That's a very good idea.
It's a
I
dirt
haven't-
bike trick.
You
I
can,
haven't worked
yeah.
out it. That's 20,000, is it? See, that's such useful information. We should teach that at schools. shouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be useful more
It's
than what they
practical
teach.
things.
Yeah, right.
We used to clean the bulb, navigation bulb. Sometimes you turn them on and there's the green, but the red is not functioning. So you open them up, you take the sandpaper,
Yeah.
Yes.
and you clean up the top,
Mhm.
top end, put it back.
Magic.
Working.
It's like that.
It's just,
Well, I
it's just
tried to
small
repair the
pieces.
radio, but you ever seen a circuit for a radio? I was looking at this thing for days. Eventually I decided, I found a wire that had perished. I installed it. I never installed it. I didn't have a soldering iron. Because the side lights weren't working, I melted off the bottom of the terminals on the side light, heated it up, and used that to
Oh,
solder it.
nice.
And it did work, but it would blow a fuse. You know, the moment you started transmitting, it just went.
But it would receive.
The receiver still worked.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I could receive. I could get time checks, which of course is important.
Yeah.
And I learned about the Americans going around the moon. I thought, what am I doing? Yeah, they're going around the moon, for goodness sake. I'm just going around the world. This is
Right,
nothing.
right,
Maybe
yeah.
what's happening there. Picked up odd things now and again.
You were probably far more lonesome going around the ocean than they were at the moon. To tell you the truth.
Well, yes, they had. At least they could talk to people.
All right.
Yes. I mean, after Australia, after New Zealand, of course, 4.5 months. The funniest thing is people would come up to me and say, "Weren't you worried when you were missing?" I said, "No, I knew where I was." "No, you were missing." "No, I knew where I was."
Maybe you missed me, but I knew where I was.
That's right.